Hi there, VC. I'm here for a contest response to Rockboy680's 2000 subscribers contest. Congratulations. He said, show us your favorite albums from 3 or more decades, and I did from the 50s through the 2000s. And I definitely have more 7 albums for the 50s, and the other one's like 3 or 4. So I'll try to make this as quick as I can. Starting from the 2000s, I could have picked like so many more albums. Like these are just kind of runner ups or whatever. This is Hank Williams III, Straight to Hell. Such a great album. I definitely recommend it. Now let's go into the 90s. There's like I've said, like I'm gonna say every time, there's so many other albums that I could have chose, but just grab these quick. These are all from a great hip hop artist, Tupac, and three of my favorite albums from the 90s. 1991, his debut, Tupacalypse Now. Of course, All Eyes on Me, and his last album, Machiavelli. 3 great albums that I listen to a lot. Okay, back to the 80s here. These are 2 classic albums to start it off. Definitely cannot pick which ones of these are my favorites. We have Alan Jackson's debut album from 1989, Here in the Real World. What a beautiful record. And Garth Brooks' debut album from 1989. Now we go to the, I have 2 more from the 80s. Depeche Mode's debut album. It's definitely one of my favorite albums of all time in general. And their album from 84, Some Great Reward. This is the album that got me into them. And some of my favorite songs on here. Let's go to the 70s. Of course, this wouldn't have been a video for me without showing Kiss. Of course, this is their 1974 debut LP. I have tons of copies of this, but I just grabbed the 2014 reissue. Okay, another one from the 70s. This one's from 1971. Probably in my top 10 favorite George Jones albums. Of course, you all will know this album. Very great production on it, and I definitely recommend it. Let's go to the 60s, and then the 50s will be last. This could be considered my favorite album of all time. I haven't shown this yet in the video, and you'll see it in my next Final Finds. This is From Elvis in Memphis, and this is a 1982 Mobile Fidelity Sound Lab pressing. Just every single song on here is fantastic. Don't have to say much about that. Another one of my favorite George Jones albums from this one's from the 60s, Love Bug. And of course, 1961, we have Etta James with At Last. This is definitely one of my favorite pieces in my collection, and one of the best albums of the era that's on Argo. The 50s, this was very hard for me. There's probably 30 albums I could have shown from the 50s that are my favorite, and I can't narrow it down to one. So sorry James, but we have Jerry Lee Lewis's debut album. This is an original on Sun Records. Pull it out and show it to you. And next up, we have Sam Cooke's debut LP on Keen Records. This has the original paper cover. Next up, Bo Diddley's debut album on Chess. Blues legend, Bo Diddley beat. What else is there to say? Of course, Elvis Presley's debut album from sorry about my phone that keeps going off. His debut album from 1956. What more can I say about that? That might be my absolute all-time favorite album of the 1950s right there. And then sorry, VC. But this is such a great album. Couldn't have left this one out. Sorry for the glare. Just a wonderful, wonderful album. On quality. Joe Turner on Atlantic. And last but not least, I was looking for this album for about 2 years. This is Presenting Dion and the Belmonts from 1959. And that's it for my contest entry to Rockboy680's 680 2,000 subscribers contest. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll be back soon. Take care.